Welcome back to the Hive School, where we create videos to help you one-up your live event production workflows. In today's entirely unscripted video, I'm going to be looking at adding a graphics card into this tiny little PC. This is a Minis Forum MS01. There's been quite a lot of chat on the sort of technical YouTube channels about these over the last couple of months. They are kind of the next revolution on from the tiny mini micro enterprise PCs that a lot of people got into using during COVID. What makes this special is that, first of all, its form factor. It's certainly small enough to get thrown in a toolbox, which is what made it very interesting to me. But on top of that, it has a lot of I/O that I think will be useful to the kind of work that we do. So we've got two 10G SFP cages, two 2.5G copper networks, two Thunderbolt 4 connectors there, and then onboard HDMI, then two USB 3s, a power socket there, and then on the front we've got two USB 2s, another USB 3, and a headphone socket. So it's pretty, like, there's a lot of connectivity available for that. This one's got an i9 in it, so it's got a fairly meaty processor. But the thing that's missing from this, in terms of the kind of work that we do, is a strong graphics card. And as you can see, if I hold those two things up sort of side by side, there's no way this graphics card's going to fit into this box without a little bit of modification, which is where these parts come in. So I bought this. This is an aftermarket cooler from, I forget where did I buy it from. There we go. I did tell you this was going to be unscripted. So this is from Nerdware, and they make aftermarket bits and pieces, including coolers for graphics cards like this. So this graphics card is the Nvidia A4000 SFF. So it's already a small form factor graphics card, and I think probably, well, it does look like it could, you know, it's roughly sort of 2 heights. The actual PCI expansion port here is half height, half width, so there isn't room for that. These are really nicely made in terms of their engineering. So there's just a button on the back that allows you to open that up, and you'll see now, I've rigged up this overhead cam today so that we can see a little bit more of what I'm up to. You can see now that we've only really got that single PCI height to get this in. So, like I say, totally unscripted. I've hopefully got all the bits that I need to make the modifications to this card, and then to get that all set up in there. I've never done this before, so you're coming along with me for a ride. It's a beautiful machined bit of copper there. Have a look at that. That's pretty nice. And then active cooling. So we've got a little fan in the back, and if you show that, you can see all the fins. Like if I do that, you see all the fins. So you know, you've got hopefully pretty adequate cooling for what we want to do with it. It also comes with a little machined. The rear brackets that come with this, again, wouldn't fit in this sort of half height, half width slot. So they've sent us over a rear bracket for that, and then some extra bits and pieces. I think if I was smart, I would probably go and check out the guide on how to do this, but what could possibly go wrong? So first thing we're going to need to do is, this has got like a protective film just to keep the plastics on this nice. And I'm going to take, there's a handful of Torx screws on this that I'm going to have to take apart. So let's grab a trusty driver and see what we can get into. Is it one of these guys? China. Fascinating television going on here. Here we go, that's pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to undo all the screws on this. one more.
And then I can see immediately that there's a connector for the fan just down the back, so I'm going to see if I can just pry that away. Okay. What I can see is happening there is we're flexing on this rear bracket, and I've missed two torque screws, which are actually slightly bigger than the ones that hold the cooler on. So just give a little check there. There we go. So swap those out. Let's remove these. Okay, so that's the PCI bracket, and now see the card underneath, and there we go. So that's just the standard Nvidia cooling shroud. Let's have a little look at how this is all connected. Just looking to see if there's anything holding on. Oh, here we go. So there's a plastic. Just almost looked like it was metal. Nice piece of plastic there. So that's what I was missing, is that we needed to be able to gain access to the bottom side of the card in order to take off this, which is the stock heatsink. There we go. Wow, that's good. This sort of popped up when I've taken the screws out. I might have to do this slightly slower. Okay, so I think it's just thermal paste now that's holding this cooler on. Okay. Let's see how fun I thought it was going to be. Okay, great. So this is the card. And there's, you can see that we've been supplied some thermal pads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 5 memory chips. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So let's clean this up, get some thermal paste, and get this all put back together. I don't know that this is the fanciest thermal paste that I've ever used. It's Cooler Master stuff, but it'll do the job. Do really need to remove the old paste from this, so okay. So what I'm going to do is get our thermal pads. These are basically, they're sticky on both sides, and just sit them over these memory chips. So we've got 5 of these to do. I don't believe there's a directionality to these pads, but I'm gonna, just for the sake of my OCD, I'm gonna put them all on the same way up. So you see what I'm doing. A cooler's going to sit on it like this, which is nice and neat. So aim that down like this. Like I say, bit of thermal paste on the processor die, and then I'm going to just whip up these stick pads. So we'll use the brackets from below to hold this cooler back onto the card again. So take this pads off. We'll take the plastic backing for the sticky side of the pad off. Right. Okay. You see quite nicely. Shape. So. And I think it's the smallest of my Torx bits that are needed to hold this back on. So you can just see that there we go. So the holes below weren't totally in alignment. Let's try and so the screws that we used, that we took out the stock card, clearly aren't long enough, and that's why we've got the four screws that have been sent from the guys at Nerdware. Okay, so this is a fuzzy bit, so let's find the pH one. Okay, so I've got the aftermarket screws, but I'm going to use stock. I don't know what this bit's called. This sort of brace that goes on the bottom to hold the cooler to the circuit board. I've just done those diagonally. This kind of popped up a bit when we took off the stock one, so help get it all flattened back down to the card again. Okay, and there's a lot of chat online, if you have a look on the Discord, about not over tightening these, so I'm just going to kind of do it until I feel a bit of resistance. There we go. Cool. Okay, so our bottom shroud, this not totally clear if there's room for this in the case, so I'm just going to kind of measure that up. See, I'd like to get that. Yeah, it seems that way. Seems like at least certainly the four corners are drilled for. So again, find the right Torx driver before I secure this bottom bit on. We're missing something really important, and that's the rear brackets. So that's going to, if I take that off, I believe that's going to sit like this.
I'm not clear whether that goes below the card or above it. Does seem like it needs to go below it, so that would mean that this, it's just slightly too tall to allow you to sit on the desk with that. That's right. Once we get a couple of these screws in, that should be pretty good. There we go. Yeah. Helps pull the cooler into the card as well. So it's pretty obvious that the four corners definitely have threads in to do that. Not sure the middle of it does, but we do obviously have that brace. Before we get too far with this, we need to get our connector back in for the fan power. Just using my driver here to just squish that back into its socket. And okay, yeah. So just getting these last screws in the corner done. Great. So hopefully you can see that's where we came from. So that was the original form factor of the card with the stock cooler, and that's where we've ended up here, which is going to allow us to fit this into our MSO1. So the other thing that we need to do with our MSO1 is there's a there's a screw on that. So there's just a plastic, or is it metal? There's like a blanking plate on that PCI. So let's try and find. I might just need to find like a pH0 to get that. There's a screw that's holding that in. So let's grab that. Oh, okay, so this is like a plastic plug that will lock your PCI card in. There we go, which allows, so that plug prevents the card from sliding. So we're going to need that, put this back in when we get our card in. So now's all to do really is to try and get this in. So there we go. This is the point where I'm not totally sure if that bottom plastic shroud was meant to go back, but it just seemed like there was threads to like stick it back in there. So just making sure that the power cable for the fan fits in all right, and we need to align our PCI bracket with the socket there.
Just not great TV, but just get that wiggled into place. There we go. That made a satisfying noise as it sort of clamped into place. So just making sure that our power cable isn't pinched there. I'm going to take that plug that I was talking about and get that back in, and that's going to prevent the card from pushing back out of the socket that way. Okay, that just snaps into place, and then that tiny little screw, just use that to hold that down again. Cracking. Okay, so we've taken our MSO1, which is already a bit of a powerhouse. We've modified our Nvidia A4000 SFF, taken away the stock cooler, and we've put on this aftermarket cooler from Nerdware. I'm going to put this back together and probably grab a different camera so I can show you this booting up and doing the things that we want it to. So what I've done is brought you over to a different part of my studio, which you normally don't see, which is my desk, where I've sort of set a desk up to get some editing done. This is the cable that I had to go and find. This card is mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort, and I've just got all of that kind of set up and plugged in there. That will need a little bit of mains. There we go, blue light. So you would get that set up and see what happens when we can get this to boot. There we go, so we've got it posted at least, and we're getting graphics. Marvelous. Okay, so I'm going to call that a bit of a success. Thank you for joining me on this entirely unscripted journey of replacing the cooler in my MSO1 on the A4000 SFF so that it can go in my MSO1, and I'm going to get my drivers installed now, and perhaps I'll give you an update, maybe on a short coming up soon, to let you know what the kind of performance statistics are. But yeah, I definitely consider this a success. Thank you for joining us again on another Hyper School video, and yeah, you know the drill. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Many thanks.